Dela writes, my MVVs, welcome. Yes, so go over the jet, okay? The Lion of Oduduwa's Gulfstream G700 has caused a lot of problems in the palace. Ebony and Sapphire are, tearing up themselves apart over Gulfstream 700. Now, if you have been following what is going on, you find out that Ebony is celebrating the birthday of her very handsome, cute boy, right? The boy just turned 1 today. Recently, and there is this birthday celebration that, of course, everyone is celebrating the cute boy, right? But then again, one would have expected that in the spirit of this celebration, there won't be this kind of wahala all over the place. But, they said that maybe it is coming from a place of, the fact that Ebony feels like she was betrayed by a lot of people, because that is actually how she feels, okay? And so they said, and this Ebony's son's birthday in Ile-Ife, was meant to be a joyful day, but food, music, laughter, children running around with balloons, and the palace courtyard filled with guests. But instead of the cheerful celebration it was supposed to be, it turned into a battlefield of ego, pain, and bitterness. Ebony had just returned from the UK a few days before, where she traveled on a chartered flight. Okay, she came back to Nigeria specifically. They said she came because she needed to mark her son's birthday in the palace. That is, of course, the house of Oduduwa, right? Now, expecting that when the celebration ended, she would fly back to the UK in style with of course, the Lion of Odua's new private jet. The private jet is not that new. It's almost about a year right now. It's a Gulfstream G700 that the Lion of Odua has been using to travel. But unfortunately, for reasons best known to him, that Gulfstream G700 has only been open for, Olori Jewel, our jewel, right? And another person who has been able to fly in that Gulfstream G700 has been, Sapphire, okay? Sapphire, who is Dr. Lizzie, okay? So you get used to that name, okay? And so it was, her right as one of, the wives of the Lion of Odua, especially since it was a big deal for her to shuttle between the UK and Nigeria. But when she finally asked to get bookings, to get the pilot, because usually that they do not have their own private pilot that they have employed, employing a private a pilot for an institution, okay, is very cumbersome financially, okay? You cannot just keep one pilot. So the private pilots, what they do, they work through consultancy fairs, okay, aviation consultancy fair. So you want to book them, they come and fly you and all of that. And so for the Lion of Odua, that is what has been happening. And each time he wants to travel with the jewel, they said there is a particular, son of Oduduwa that flies them around. So right now, they say Ebony now said that when she's going back, that she would want to use, the private jet. And Sapphire said no, that she is actually waiting for, the Lion of Oduduwa to return back from Dubai with the jewel so that she can fly to Brazil. That is, Sapphire wants to fly to Brazil because she's got a meeting in Brazil. They said that was what caused the fight too. Remember when Ebony was going to the UK last week, she was very upset. Her shrine was destroyed. Of course, the immunity, of course, we are all aware of the story of the immunity right now as it is, and everything was happening. So she needed to go and cool off her head. So what she did, they said she chartered a private jet that took her, from Ibadan straight to the UK. That was what we heard, right? If that information is correct, they said Ibadan or Lagos, straight to the UK. And she stayed for 3 days. When people thought that she had gone, she still came back. They said they advised her not to go, that this is not the right time to leave her marriage and her husband. She need to smoothen out things before she finally goes. And they said she came, and they said the reason why she came also was to be a part of her grandmother's funeral, because they said her grandmother also, a big great grandmother or something, died Now, while while Sapphire, was away, you know, sorry, why Ebony was away, okay, Sapphire had quietly arranged for her father to be flown into the UK for urgent medical treatment. And it wasn't a commercial airline or a chartered service. It was the Lion of Odua's brand new private jet, the same jet Ebony had been, dreaming to use, the same jet, our Jewel has been using, okay? But, Sapphire's father had a medical emergency, and they said it was the same jet that flew that man to the UK. Okay. And so now, the fact that her father was able to fly with that jet to the UK sparked jealousy across the palace. They say Ebony felt insulted, she felt humiliated, she couldn't believe that she had spent money on a chartered plane while, Sapphire, who, just came, like, who is just a new person into the life of the Lion of Odua, could fly her father to the UK while she, the wife to the Lion of Oduduwa, couldn't use the private jet. That she will never allow that. That is not something that she is ready to take. That is it because she had her immunity removed, that Sapphire feels like you will put her finger in the eye, that this insult is too much. She would never, ever be able to take it again. They said while, they were celebrating, the birthday, that Ebony had walked up to, Sapphire in the middle of the birthday celebration, her voice trembling but loud enough for people nearby to hear. You mean while I was, paying for a chartered flight, you were flying your father to the UK with the Gulfstream, and now I want to use it. You are telling me no. You're telling me you are traveling to Brazil for what? So I have to wait for you to come back from Brazil. You can use it to transport your father to the UK, but I have no right to use it because you are the only one who is married to the Lion of Oduduwa, right? Is that what you're trying to say? They said Dr. Lizzie, calm but firm, looked at her straight in the eyes and said, the Lion put me in charge of logistics. That plane is not for everybody to jump in and out whenever they feel like. I already told you, I am using it soon for my trip to Brazil after, the Lion and, the Jewel returns from Dubai. That answer was like pouring petrol on an already burning fire. Ebony snapped. Her voice rose above the music, above the children's laughter. She didn't care who was, watching. Who the hell do you think you are, Sapphire? Who do you think you are? Who gave you the right to decide who uses the jet? Since you have become, the queen, the only queen in this palace that can tell state when and where to use the jet to. Sapphire went ahead to explain that. Is it that you're just trying to make trouble with me or something? Because I don't understand where this is coming from. The last time we checked, it was, the Lion of Odua that said nobody can use the private jet until he says so. Now, even though a lot of people said, when he said nobody could use the private jet until he said so, a lot of people changed it to nobody can use the private jet except, our Jewel, okay? That was the narrative that, Ebony was painting to everyone, because at the time when the Lion of Odua said nobody could use the private jet, our Jewel was busy using the private jet all over the place. And so because she used a chartered flight to the UK, she got really upset when she came back and heard that, Sapphire had transported her father to the UK for treatment, and that did not go well with her. They said guests started shifting uncomfortably. The elders looked around nervously, hoping the matter would cool down, but Ebony was just getting started. Her son's birthday became the stage for her fury. She shouted about how unfairly she's being treated, how other wives had their chances to shine while she was being pushed aside. She reminded everyone about her position, about her sacrifices, and how she wasn't, some side woman to be disrespected, that the way she has been disrespected by everyone in the palace has got to stop. They said Sapphire didn't even raise her voice. She didn't, shout back, but her calmness only angered Ebony more. Sapphire repeated again, I don't make the rules here. The Lion of Odua trusted me to handle the logistics, and I won't disrespect that trust because you are angry. If you want to use the jet, speak to him directly. And that was what, Sapphire said to her and walked out of the birthday, leaving the gift that she brought right there. I'm going to bring you more update. Do not forget that these are all alleged, Ramadan verified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.